This is Mark Tedesco, the author of She Seduced Me, A Love Affair with Rome, and I would like to take you through the second chapter of the book, just a brief overview. She Seduced Me, A Love Affair with Rome will be out in November 2020. Some of the beginning words of my book include, what is it about Rome that seduces the heart, fascinates the mind, and envelops the senses? Once she becomes part of you, there is no turning back, no forgetting, no forsaking. One of the first things one notices in Rome is the life on the streets. That's where it all happens. The street performers, the restaurants, the cafes, it's so lively and magical there. So I started to wonder, what was the life like in the streets of ancient Rome? Our quest for what life was like in the streets of ancient Rome begins at the Baths of Caracalla, because it was a great center of activity and fun. Every afternoon, Romans of all classes went to the baths and interacted, gossiped, talked, and had a good time. To bring us back in time in the Baths of Caracalla, we're going to be accompanied by two senators. The first is Titus, and the second senator here is Flavius. The reader is brought into the Baths of Caracalla, and the veil is lifted as we begin to see them as they were. Not a set of ruins, but a glorious palace celebrating the life of the Romans. The complex included cold baths, warm and hot, restaurants, massage areas, sometimes even art exhibitions and entertainment. Stripped down to their essence, once one entered the baths, he was no different than a freedman or a senator, and sometimes this bothered our two senators as we listen into their conversations as they gossip, make observations, and make remarks and judgments about their fellow bathers. It doesn't take a lot of imagination to see the glory of the baths as they were during this time of Caracalla the emperor. When Titus and Flavius notice that a gladiator who they admire is at the baths, their course of conversation changes. As we accompany our two senators through the various rooms of the baths, we learn about the different stages of bathing and the facilities at the Baths of Caracalla while listening to their observations, their longings, and their imaginings. The baths are named after Emperor Caracalla, and they were actually built by his father. A discussion starts between our two senators about Caracalla. Did they like him? Did they not like him? In the end, in the chapter, I name him Emperor Pissed Off. There are some references to the senators' wives, who of course are not at the baths, while the senators themselves take their leisure time every afternoon with their friends. They've been at the baths all day and their stomachs begin to grumble. Rather than eating inside of the bath complex, the senators decide to go outside to watch the street performers and to get a bite to eat. The book creates an interesting way to access research on life in the streets in ancient Rome and the various forms of entertainment that were prevalent during that time. Our two senators gather their food and find an acrobat show to watch as they notice that their gladiator friend is on the other side watching also. The tour through the Baths of Caracalla is a great way to bring the reader back in time and make the ancient world come alive as we see and experience what life in the streets was like in ancient Rome.